What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another Fridge Financials video. And in today's video, we are breaking down a preview of Intel earnings. So if you're excited for today's video, feel free, as always, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, turn on the bell notifications for all future uploads. This video is going to be a little bit of a shorter one, more of just getting ready for Intel earnings, which I'm recording this at 10 p.m. Wednesday night. Earnings are tomorrow after market closes. And the reason why we're covering Intel earnings is because I have currently a strangle in this company here. So we're going to be looking for the moves, the expectations from Wall Street, looking at historical data a little bit, and just kind of think about what could potentially happen here as a result. So I've started using bar chart recently for expected moves, in options, and looking at put call ratios and volatility charts. And there's a lot of really good data points here. I'm not paying for it. I don't have an account with them, but it's pretty cool. And it does do this little bit of expected moves and predictions here. And you can kind of follow it and track it based off of what happens as a result. Right now, what we're looking at is Intel's expected move here. And again, as we know, earnings are the 24th, which will be tomorrow. And again, as we know, volatility, you're going to be seeing some sort of move in the stock, hopefully, tomorrow after market closes. Intel has been on quite a downward trend as of recently with restructuring, with a new CEO, with all these different things coming around. They're just not doing what they should be doing as a chip manufacturer and a, technology play when it's compared to like AMD, compared to NVIDIA, compared to all the other tech companies that have chips and stuff like that. Intel has not been doing that well. And so what we'll look at here is taking a look at the expiration dates. So what we're looking at right now is, again, 2 days expiration at the time of recording this video here. Right now, sitting at about 23.50, which is absolutely great. And the expected move we're looking at is about a 6.95% move, about a 7% move, give or take, according to bar chart with implied volatility. Upper price at $25.12, lower price $21.86. And if you've been following Fridge Financials for some time, you would have seen that I opened up a play on Intel where my strangle price I'm looking at right now is between strike prices of $26 per share and $21 per share for the put side. And so kind of lining up with these expectations about where it might somewhat be, any sort of crazy hit or miss is going to have this stock moving, which is going to be great for me because I'll be able to capitalize in either direction. And as we know, the implied volatility here is 137% because it's unpredictable what will happen tomorrow after the market closes. We do not know. And as you will know, as the weeks go afterwards, the volatility kind of comes back down a little bit. Obviously, next week, there's still some volatility, but not as much. So what I have done for this one, unlike what it was Schwab, because with Schwab, I was like, oh, with over 90, since I had 96 bucks, I'm making profit. And I lost some money on Schwab because I got hit with IV crush, the implied volatility crush. Because there was as big of a move as expected, it's going to crash the values of those options because there's not as much volatility because now the news is out. Same thing here, but this time I kind of want to factor it in, and I may have overcalculated it. Who really knows? But the goal here is kind of just prepare for what could happen as a result and look at different options here, okay? So Intel's looking at about, a 7% move, which is really, really good. He's going to get hopefully some volatility happening. On August 1st of last year, they were down 26% after earnings. October, they were up about 8%, down about 3%, down about 6.7%. The average move is about 10%. But again, this is taken with a grain of salt because as we know with averages, these huge values pull the average in a huge certain direction. So what I like to look at is the median move that we're having here. So again, this is from the NASDAQ about the returns, the 1 day, the 5 days, the 21 days. Again, with the strategy that I'm running here, I'm looking at the 1 day returns and that's it. I don't look at the 5 days or the 21 days because I don't need to, because I'm closing the options. The strangle is closed the day after earnings just to make sure we don't get hit with that decay as much. Market opens Friday morning, boom, boom, boom. We close it off for either a profit or a loss and we move on. That's kind of the idea behind the trade here. So, you can see the 1 day returns here, and the median positive returns about 7.8%. The median negative is about -7%. These are the max positives and max negatives here. Recently, more negativity in earnings over these dates compared to positives, 15 negatives and only 5 positives here. And people are trying to speculate where will Intel go in either direction on earnings tomorrow. Now, the good thing is that you see about a 7% move here, which kind of does line up with bar chart, and it's really, really good here in this case. Again, these are all predictions that and calculations that are based off of here. Anything can happen with the stock market, and it can happen with the moves in the companies. Earnings can have a stock move in so many different directions. It all just kind of depends. As they look at earnings history here from before April 24th, we did have a miss about 28%. And that led us to having a decrease of about 7%. We had a even bigger decrease, about 76% back in January 30th, but only a small sell-off happened after that. And I'm not sure if this wasn't expected but oh no, it was actually. Well, the forecast was actually 12 cents and they got 13 cents per share. So it was in fact there. This one was in fact actually a really good beat as well. This was a huge miss that you'll see here. So Intel went under restructuring. They have a new CEO. And here's what I'm focusing on for this kind of stock chart to move. We're forecasting an EPS. So the markets are forecasting EPS of 0.01. So it's 1 cent per earnings per share here, basically. Last year was 2 cents. So you're looking at basically a 50% year-over-year change. Went from 2 cents down to 1 cent. And also, you're looking at 13 cents per share for earnings per share here, now down to possibly 1 cent. So you're having this drop off here, right? A little bit of a rebound from here. I know they had the restructuring and then they had layoffs and stuff like that. I think what's really going to push earnings tomorrow for Intel, this is my personal opinion here, so don't take this as financial advice. Obviously, as we know, it's not. With Intel earnings, it's not going to matter what this comes out with. They're currently doing restructuring. They have a new CEO in charge. They're trying to revamp their company. I don't think earnings per share matters as much. I think what's going to matter is hearing this new CEO with guidance. Where's the guidance going to be? Where will we push moving forward? And also, the bar is very, very low for a forecast here. They set it pretty low, basically not changing from quarter one to quarter two, or about the same from quarter one to quarter two. So they might have already put it at a low ball, and Intel can come in with a beat on the earnings per share, which would be absolutely amazing, obviously, as we know. A beat in the market for Intel is going to be great because Intel has been beaten down so much. It's been slaughtered because of all the bad news, all the bad data, everything coming out. It has been absolutely slaughtered, and everybody's been selling it off. And this new CEO is hoping to bring it back to life. So what I think will really drive the stock price tomorrow is hearing the guidance from the new CEO. And believe it or not, it's kind of just like how Nike earnings was, where I made a lot of money on the Nike's earning move, because Nike has been getting absolutely, butchered in the market for the last year and a half or so, down to $50, whatever. They came in with beats and they were okay-ish beats, still awful compared to the year before. But the CEO was so confident. He was talking about the forward investments, what they're going to do, how they're going to strive to push the company better, and how the worst is behind them. And it pushed the stock 15% at market over the next day. We made over $1,000 on it. Kind of feel like I'm starting to get this kind of feeling it's going to be a similar idea with Intel. If earnings comes in great and the CEO feels confident in his turnaround for this company, I wouldn't be surprised to see a huge move in the positive direction for Intel. Obviously, only the time will tell. And if you're watching this video and it already happened, you already probably know where Fridge Financials is going to be in this case here. But what I want to also do is show you guys some of the little breakdowns here. So again, shout out to the Kingdom on Discord here. As always, you guys know I'm a member there. I have my own page that posts all my trades, profits, losses, all that kind of good stuff here. So what you will see is that we did in fact close the short side. This is me buying to close the short side here right before market closed at the time of recording this today. So we filled that one. We made $60 on the short put side. We made $95 on the short call side. So we made $155 in profit on the short side. Less than 50% of the total premium, and I'm still trying to figure out the best strategy to sell off or to close the shorts, because I could have closed these earlier for a lot more on Monday, but I was you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to close them Wednesday, because Thursday, these options probably won't have much decay because the volatility is going to expand, which makes them worth more, not worth less. So I'm trying to figure out what's a good sweet spot to close these out. Maybe a couple of days before earnings is better instead of closing them out the day before. I'm not really quite sure yet, but we're up $155 as of right now in these trades, which is really, really good. And then what you'll notice here is I broke down all the potentials and looking at all the different data points here that I come up with to look and see. First one I use is Warren Buffett's Fin Tool. Shout out to you, Warren Buffett, on After Hours. If you do actually watch these videos, I would feel honored if you watch them, obviously. But Warren Buffett on After Hours, make sure you go follow him on After Hours. It's a great app. Feel free to check it out in the App Store, free of charge. A lot of good trading experts are there, and it's an amazing platform. It's where I'm at, and people have loved what I've put out there as well. He has a calculator tool that factors in the implied volatility, the share price, all that kind of stuff, the expected moves. And his calculator, which actually was pretty spot on. Last week, Schwab was $98, and it went right up and touched 98 before market opened, and then it sold off a little bit. So it was pretty spot on last time here. So Warren Buffett's calculator right here, we're looking at an upside target of 2640 and a downside of 2058. To me, that's amazing because, again, my strikes are 26 and 21. So if I hit either of these targets here, one of those options is going to be in the money with a week left, which means there's a lot of value in those contracts. So I would love it if Warren Buffett's calculator is correct again. Would absolutely love it. But again, we look at different expectations in different directions here to make sure that we're covering all the different bases here. Again, here's bar charts example here, $25.12, $21.86 to the low end, about a 7% move there. I'm looking at it for expiration on the 25th from Intel, which I did on my phone. I also do options profit calculator. Now, this one I have used a lot. You watched me do it last time here. And the box that I make is where my losses are to be found. So what you'll see right now here at the time of me screenshotting this before tomorrow's market open, which these values might change a little bit more because it'll be some time going by. But if Intel goes above 2433, again, I'm closing these out on the 25th, and I'm already up $155 on my trade. So anything above 2433, based off of this calculation, puts me at break even and profitable from there, which is only about a 4%, 5% move. And we're looking at a 7% move. Anything to the upside is going to be great. And I'll tell you right now, it's so much closer to those call sides than the put sides. Man, I would love a nice push to the higher side here for Intel. I would make a good amount of money on this option here if this happens. So that's on the upside. On the downside, same thing on the 25th. Anything below $22 is going to have me at about break even, maybe a little bit of profit under $22, which again, about a 6% move to the downside. So a bit more of a move that has to happen to the downside. But implied volatility, the expected moves are looking at about 7%. So this one still has a chance of being profitable. But what I did this time compared to last time with Schwab was I did another calculation. And what options profit calculator allows me to do is to factor in implied volatility to decrease. And so what I did was, if you look at this calculation here, and this is how you can find implied, this is how you'd find the IV crush as a way of doing it. You take the volatility, that's at, so 137%, you minus the next week, the following weeks, which is right now about 78%. Then you divide it by the current implied volatility of 137%, and it gives me a potential IV crush of about 40%, 43% here. This is one way you could find the implied volatility crush that will actually happen here as a result. So what we're looking at here is about a 40% implied volatility crush. So what I did was I factored that into the calculator, and what you will see is that now we are looking for a much bigger move for it to be profitable. Literally, it has to go to $26, basically at the strike price, and also under $21 at the strike price. So we're looking for it with the IV crush calculated into it, we got to hit one of these two strike prices tomorrow after earnings, either $26 or $21. Now, as we know, my max loss is going to be like $300 or something dollars or so, minus the 155. So we might take a loss in this trade here. Honestly, I'm not really quite sure. But what I have done is I've tried to cover all the different scenarios that we have here. And the hope and the goal is that even if there's some move to either side and it's not a big enough one, we walk away with a small loss, just like Schwab, just like American Express, all that kind of good stuff there. What I did here as a result was I also mapped out my strike prices here. So you can kind of get an idea as to seeing what's labeled on both directions here. So here's Intel's chart right now. Here's where I would make profit with no IV crush. So 24.50 and up would be amazing. Warren Buffett's projection tool is up here at 26.40, which is a huge move up. That would put me way above the profit right here of 24.50 without the volatility crush. If we hit Warren Buffett's projections, that still is going to be profitable because of the potential IV crush calculation factored in. So anything up here around that $26 strike price, we're going to be looking at hopefully making some profit. Here's the bar chart expected move here. So a little bit less than expected, but that's okay. And then we did the same thing on the downside as well. Again, looking at, we need a much bigger movement here. And the options profit one with IV crush is pretty close to Warren Buffett FinTool projections, as you will see as well. Option profits with no IV crush and bar chart are very much similar as well. So these are the levels we're looking at here to watch. And as we wrap up this video here, I will be going live tomorrow before market closes. So probably like 3:30 or so. Make sure if you're in minutes from the video, turn on those bell notifications so you're notified of when Fridge Financials goes live. Because what I will be doing is I'll be live streaming the Intel chart after hours. We'll talk stocks, we'll talk what's going on in the market, we're going to look at different charts, and then we're going to get super hyped to see what Intel does. And hopefully we make some money. Fingers crossed. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. A little bit of a longer video, but just kind of giving you guys my ideas, my thesis here. The more data points I can gather here, the more I can see how this trade strategy is going to go. Thank you guys so much, as always. If you made this far in the video, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, turn on those bell notifications for all future uploads and for when I go live tomorrow so you get the first-hand glimpse of Fridge Financials live in person. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're making money in the market. Let's get hyped for Intel stock tomorrow, baby. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.